If I go vegan, I will always be hungry. Hello, my name is Veganowledge JJ, and I am here to tell you that this is another one of those myths. We think vegans are out here going hungry. So you might want to check out my video that I did on a little bit deeper, dug deeper into this topic, where I was talking about there are different types of vegan diets. But the truth is, many vegans either unfold this in layers. They may start out as eating a lot of vegan processed food with a little bit of healthy food mixed in, and then maybe they move into based on wanting to improve their health, or they're getting older, or they have some type of condition that they're trying to clear up where they want to accelerate that, and they may move into eating a lot of healthier recipes such as whole food plant-based or raw or high raw vegan, which I follow. So it happens in different ways. But the biggest thing that there is to realize, and I didn't realize this either, don't worry. I thought the same thing. I would be hungry all the time. But the thing is, when it comes to eating nutrient dense foods, what we don't realize is our body is literally craving nutrients. It's not even just craving food. Now, for a little while, if you're used to eating burgers and fries, you have something inside of you called your gut microbiome. And this microbiome is kind of like it wants what you've been giving it. It's kind of like a social media algorithm. I kind of liken it to, where if you're consuming a bunch of content about comedians, you notice how it'll start throwing up comedians at you. Maybe that's why you're getting this. I'm kind of a comedian on the side too, but that's a whole nother story. But the wild thing is, if you are interested in a vegan diet and you start looking up things that are vegan, you start getting that content. Well, your gut microbiome is the same. Let me get back on topic. If you are eating a lot of dense food, a lot of like really high sodium, food, even as a vegan or as a non-vegan, and you're eating a lot of fast food or processed food, your body is craving that. You start to think about a salad and you're like, ew, no thank you. So you almost do have to kind of clear out. And what I try to do when I'm switching up on times where it might have been holidays, or sometimes in the beginning of spring. I live in a resort area, so I might, be a little more lenient with my diet as far as eating cooked food sometimes. So, what happens to me though is I actually just don't eat anything, which is kind of common for me anyway. Like, I'll just clear out and don't eat anything for lunch, or I will just, whether I want it or not, let's eat some fruit for lunch, because we have to start training our biome to want the healthy food. And then you do that, and then it kind of brings you, like, you start to feel the freshness of it. And by like day 3, you're like, okay, yeah, what was I doing? I want these fresh foods. So, but the important thing is to make sure that you're eating enough, especially in the beginning. You need to match the amount of calories and the foods that you'll be eating, especially if you go into a raw diet where you're eating salads and fruit and vegetables. You must make sure that you're getting enough nutrients to fill yourself up. We think sometimes portion control, like if I sit down in a standard American diet, I would have never ate like 2 or 3 plates of burgers and fries. You eat one burger and fry, or sometimes if you're on a diet, you're like, I just want to eat half a sandwich, those type of diets. So I have a small size salad and a half a sandwich, and then you're like starving for the rest of the day. You don't have to worry about that. When you eat vegan food, it's automatically has a lot of nutrients in it. So, and it's not as many calories, especially if you're eating whole foods, which are like fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, potatoes, and high raw or raw foods, especially if you're eating uncooked fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And you want to kind of minimize the avocados, nuts, and seeds too, because that's, even though it's a healthy fat, you don't want to only eat fats. So I would say fill up on those good foods, fill up on the whole foods, especially to start with, if you're not interested in a fully raw diet. But the more uncooked fruits and vegetables you're putting in, you can eat a lot of that, and you'll get full, but you'll find that you'll stay full longer. That's so confusing to me. Like, okay, so for example, if I'm eating vegan processed food, if I eat a like a vegan spaghetti, for example, at lunch, right? I'm probably gonna be hungry like a couple of hours later. But for some reason, if I would eat like a watermelon for lunch, it's crazy. I'll stay full until dinner if I eat like oranges for lunch. And I know it's a hard thing to get into, but sometimes, even actually vegan processed food can keep you full a little bit longer, oddly enough, because it's usually made from a bean or something with fiber in it. But if you just eat like bread, like if you eat toast and jelly, like a regular white bread, you ever notice like you're just hungry later on? So, and you can, it's even better because, like, okay, say you eat like a vegan, meal, and you're staying full longer, you're not getting the saturated fat and cholesterol, so you're going to start to see your weight reduce. It's a beautiful thing, and it's not true that you'll be hungry all the time. In fact, you can eat more when you're on a vegan diet and not, gain weight, unless there's other underlying conditions that you may have to address. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, but that's what I have found, for me, that I can eat a lot and still maintain my weight with a vegan diet, and I'm not hungry all the time. You'll see all these beautiful vegan meals online, whether you want to do recipes, whether you want to keep it simple like I do. There are so many beautiful things that you can eat and so many things you can fill up on. So if you're looking at exploring veganism, don't let that myth hold you up from it. I love it. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made for our beautiful voiceless animals and for my health. And if you do it in the quote unquote right way, making sure you're getting all your nutrients, have a guide, if you need it, join online communities, and you'll do great with it. Now, if you want to read about my story about how I went from SAD, Standard American Diet, to GLAD, which is a 4-step blueprint I used to get there, and it can help you too. I share my simple 4-step blueprint to transform your health, weight, and importantly, your mindset. With my psychology background, I focus a lot on mindset, how to help you get there to achieve your goals. And you can pick up a copy of my book. It is on Amazon. Gladblueprint.com has the link on there. I'll share that all in the comments. It's ebook is available for under $5, and the paperback is $10. But here's the cool thing: I have released it for a limited time, absolutely free, on my YouTube. And so leave me a comment here. Tell me if you're vegan. Tell me if you want the book, and I will attach a link to it if you don't feel like searching the page. Check out my show, Amazing Plantz4mationz, where I share stories and interview people that have changed their life with a vegan lifestyle. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Veganowledge JJ.